What's going on, Sooner Nation? The Oklahoma Sooners have landed their 21st commit in the 2026 recruiting cycle, and it's a big day getting the four-star linebacker Jacob Curry out of Nice High School. Yes, the former high school of the one and only Tim Tebow. But this is a good win for the Oklahoma Sooners, and we got to talk about what this means for the Sooners going forward. Also, what does the rest of their 2026 class look like? Because with this being their 21st commit, you would imagine the Sooners are getting close to potentially wrapping up this class. And it looks like it could be a really good one for Oklahoma. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Oklahoma's most recent commitment. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on any Oklahoma football content or Oklahoma recruiting content. It's completely free. All you got to do is be subscribed and you're going to get brought up to speed with everything going on. And if you've been watching the channel, we've talked about Jacob Curry and this possibility of this happening for quite a while now. And this isn't going to be a true flip for Oklahoma, but Oklahoma did get involved here when Jacob Curry was committed to Northwestern, and he decommitted from Northwestern on August 26th after committing to Northwestern on May 14th. But the Oklahoma Sooners offered him on July 22nd, and the story kind of wrote itself at that point. He got a lot of offers after Oklahoma offered him. Baylor, James Laurinaitis out there at Ohio State, who maybe actually became a big problem for Oklahoma down the stretch. Florida State offered him. Navy offered him. Charlotte offered him. So there were a couple schools that saw the Oklahoma offer, saw Brent Venables, Nate Dryling sniffing around and said, hey, maybe we want to give this kid a different look. But also late in the cycle, when you've lost out on a couple of prospects, teams got to go back to the drawing board and they got to see who's available. So the Oklahoma Sooners land Jacob Curry here, a 6'1", 210-pound safety coming from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. He's the 410th ranked player in the 247 composite rankings. Got a total of 32 total offers, not just the ones that we talked about. And one of the things that you really notice when you watch his film is just his eye and his awareness for keeping his eye on the quarterback and, where the ball is going. And you kind of see it in what he's been able to do in high school. Very productive player. Finished the year last year with 101 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 11 QB hurries, 8 sacks, 7 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So for the Oklahoma Sooners, needed a little bit of depth at the linebacker position because you're going to lose quite a few guys over the next couple of years. And so you need to retool. You need to rebuild that lineup. And this is a guy that's got a 4.3 or a 4.43 40 and a 37-inch vertical. So Jacob Curry, an absolute freak of an athlete. You understand why the Oklahoma Sooners would want a guy like this. This doesn't move up Oklahoma in terms of team recruiting rankings in the 2026 cycle. They will stay steadfast at number 21, right behind Ole Miss, who's number 20 with a 237.63 composite score. But this does bring Oklahoma up to a 263.93 composite score. So they're right there. And you would imagine if Oklahoma can get a big win against Texas, they could really go out here and probably flip a couple of prospects, a couple that we're going to talk about here in just a second. But I want to hear about your thoughts about the most recent commitment of Jacob Curry, big time pickup for the Oklahoma Sooners, one that I know the staff was probably really hoping they could land, not have to go reevaluate for another linebacker target or have to go to the portal. All right, so the question is, the rest of the 2026 recruiting cycle, who could Oklahoma possibly be looking at? And of course, we've talked about multiple names over the past couple of weeks. The most recent was Mylan Paris, who visited Oklahoma, but there hasn't been a ton of noise coming out of that visit. Other than that, Bo Bentley spends a lot of time trying to get Mylan Paris committed. He's the 220th ranked player, a 4-star wide receiver, 6'5", 210 pounds out of Stowe, Ohio. Would be a massive pickup. Stowe committed to Iowa State, though, so that would be a true flip as at this point if Oklahoma was able to land his services. One, though, that is really starting to intrigue me, that I'm really starting to pick up, that there might be a noticeable flip coming, or at least a decommitment, and that's going to be Jaden Pettit, the 4-star wide receiver that's currently committed to Wisconsin, 6'4". So Jaden Pettit's got the size. This was a guy that I would say pretty early in the summer, you've kind of felt good about Oklahoma landing Jaden Pettit, but he plays out of Florida, out of Naples, Florida. He's the 233rd ranked player with 32 total offers. Like I said, currently committed to Wisconsin. He also took an official visit to North Carolina. So I definitely think if North Carolina or Missouri wanted to flip him, they could also be players. But you would imagine if Oklahoma wanted to take 5 wide receivers, they could. They're going to lose. From what I understand, at least I've heard of 3 wide receivers in the portal. You could lose at least 2 guys to the draft potentially, and then I think you'll have 1 that might age out or could go to the draft as well. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for Oklahoma to find a room for 5 wide receivers in this class, which would make it to where in 2027, maybe you wouldn't have to take as big of a class. So keep your eyes on Jaden Pettit. But outside of those 2 guys, not really a whole lot that you're hearing about, but another flip target. And I casually bring this one up every couple of weeks because I just want you to keep it in the back of your mind. Vlad Dikonov, a 6'6", 280-pound offensive tackle out of Folsom, California, out of Folsom High School, currently committed to USC. He's the 162nd ranked player in the entire country. He's got a total of 31 offers. But let me tell you, this is a guy that I know for a fact everybody would love to get on their staff. I think even Michigan's pushing to get Vlad Dikonov. But he is a offensive lineman that has been getting a lot of attention. He's rising fast on a lot of people's potential flip boards. And Oklahoma offered him August 1st, pretty much right after he took an official visit to USC on June 20th. So I know that this is a guy that the staff is definitely going to want to try to go out there and push for. Can they flip him from USC? I think that's the real question. But I think having guys like Stacey Ford, not Stacey Gage. Stacey Gage was a running back that did not come to Oklahoma. Having a guy like Stacey Ford currently on the staff, I think would definitely help Oklahoma out a lot. But I want to hear from you guys because Oklahoma got a big-time win. There's still a couple targets left on the board. They still have a chance to put up a good 2026 recruiting cycle. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be pumping out some OU Texas content for you guys later this week. We also got a video coming up on if John Mateer is going to play. So you guys aren't going to want to miss it. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. But until then, see y'all next time.